Hi there, Theresa here from theresamonro.com, and I just realized I forgot my favorite rings, and these are a priority for me. So anyway, welcome and happy Thursday, happy solstice. So for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, this is the solstice for coming into summer. Great time of change, and the beings of light have been speaking of this period of time where there was a bunch of light coming into the planet and that there was going to be a lot being kicked up. I've known about this for a little while now. Some of you may have been picking up on this. Metatron's been speaking really loud about it. Specifically what they're stating is there's a lot of distractions, particularly around other people's emotions taking us off center, which is why they've stated that it's important to take care of you first. Self-care. It's why they had me create a self-care card spread for those of you that want it. It's on my website. The link is down below. Which is neat because sometimes even just creating a list of things that we like to do, things that make us feel good, that's your self-care list. And keeping that in a moment where like your cortisol levels are high and you can't think of what it is that you want to, whatever it is that's on that list because you're not thinking straight, that's when it's really important to, revert to that list and say, okay, this is really what I need. However, if you're interested in that, that's something that's on my site. So this is your weekly Thursday video. Used to go live, but there's sometimes some energetic distractions with that, and I'm finding it's a little bit easier to focus right now if I, just upload it. So I want to touch base about that. There's a lot happening over the next week or so, and I feel like it's really going to be even through the end of August, but it'll be more intense over the next week or so. Is a lot of anger is coming up. What's happened is there's a ton of light that has hit the planet, and what has happened with that, and it's going to continue through the eclipses. So, you've heard my energy update talking about how men are going within and men are doing so much about so much inner work right now to get online, to be of better service to themselves, to the women in their lives, to the planet, and some of them are getting set up for what it is they want to do in some ways in relationships, what it is to be masculine and all of those sorts of things. So that's a big portion of what it is, but a large part of this as well. Oops, they're telling me to plug in. It's interesting. Plug in. So speaking of which, it's like, make sure you're plugging into the light. Make sure you, if you like crystals to recharge, use that. I specifically love my sprays of light. This one's a cleanse and shield one, so it helps. They're pretty supportive. I have one that's specifically for me that I use, that's infused with the rays of light that are specific for me and supporting. So in light of some of the things that are happening, there's a big wave of light that it has come onto the planet, and when that happens, a lot of the shadows get kicked up. So it's sort of like, they give me the metaphor of sort of like when oil and water separate, and when you see the top of the water, it's kind of murky and dirty. So just stating, know when to stay out of the cesspool, know when to stay. Now, part of self-care is really important, is other people are going to be having strong emotional reactions, partially because they don't fully understand what's happening, and that's okay. Just know when you need to step back and say, they can have their process. I'm not going to be able to assist in that. Know where your limits are around other people's needs right now. It's a beautiful time. There's a woman I know who's bringing a child into the world right now, which says a lot. So, by the way, if you're watching this at the time of the solstice, there is the $11 solstice healing, and it's by distance, and you don't have to do anything special for it. You receive it all throughout the day, and it's on my page, on the donate page. Yeah. So what they're showing me is like a lot of pressure around the head, a lot of activity around thoughts. Some people are experiencing a lot of physical pain all of a sudden. Part of it is because the karma gets stuck in the body, or emotions get stuck in the body, and it's being kicked up right now. So they're stating like, drink a lot of water and coconut water, show up for these healing sessions so that the light can flush that stuff out. I didn't know it when they had me advertise the Solstice healing yesterday, the Solstice healing yesterday. Maybe Solstice stealing is a thing, I don't know. But some people are having difficulty with communication and things like that. But I didn't know that they were having that advertised because so much of the dirt is getting, kicked up. Your thoughts are also, for some people, getting stuck in the physical body. So some of you are physically experiencing pain, and it's based on your thoughts. So some of you, they're just asking you to get your thoughts more in order, to think more about how you want things to be versus some of the anger. So a lot of this time is about how we process our anger, or how we project it, or what things make us angry, or shifting our perspective, or taking a more empowered point of view, or taking action towards something that you wish to support versus going against something, which is more of the old abusive patriarchal system. Okay? The real way. And the other reason why I haven't gone live with this, they're reminding me, is because the voice and the video haven't linked up the past couple of videos. But anyway, take the more empowered point of view. That is something that they're going to ask you to be working on over the next, 2 months. And that's going to be really important. Because for some people, their anger and their control are coming up, or where they're feeling a lack of control. And some people have been really lashing out at people that they see as more empowered. They only lash out at people that have the things that they want. It's like I've mentioned before in a previous video, the things you're jealous about are specific to you, to each human. It's different. It's because that's what you have the ability to manifest in your life. But some people just don't know how. And it's because that's something I have seen personally within the past couple of weeks, is somebody just really be angry because they see somebody as more empowered. And I'm like, you don't gain power or light by taking it from someone else. That's what happens when somebody doesn't feel deserving or doesn't know how to access their own light. And it's like, sometimes I have the patience to be able to work with people like that and say, no, calm down, I'll show you how to do that. It takes real intestinal fortitude sometimes. And other times I'm a little bit more human, and I'm just like, no, figure it out on your own. So sometimes just saying no to people like that, who come across rather narcissistically at times, which we all come across as narcissists at some point, some more than others. So it's just sometimes no is the most empowering thing that you can do for yourself and for them. They'll figure it out at some point. It doesn't necessarily have to be, through you. So sometimes the self-care is like, no, you can't be helped right now. Like, I can't assist you with that. That's when you get into hardline alignment and learn how to meditate, and you've got to take active action. This work, the people who really take off have a dedicated discipline, a purity of heart, a humbleness. There's a certain number of traits that they look for, and I can always recognize it, and I'm like, that's the human. that's who's next. It's not somebody who wants the stuff just for, mental satisfaction. Okay, so they want me to make this sort of thing. It's sort of like people where that sort of thing has been playing out, particularly with control dramas and things like that. When you can't hate people who have a BMW and hope to ever have one. That isn't how you acquire it. You don't get it through resenting someone else having what you want. You get in alignment with it in several other different ways. So it's sort of like, it's a period of time right now where we have people mirroring back places where we feel disempowered, and things that have been, the dust has just settled on these things And I've always known since I was little, I was like, these people are going to wake up. And it's happening. So we have some major catalysts on the planet right now that are reflecting back where, you know, collectively humanity has given their power away. And so anger is a very powerful motivator. So people are like, oh my goodness, you know, we've got this transit and that transit and it's just awful. And I'm like, it's not awful. This is the time we've been looking for. This is the time of where the light comes in and shoves things, you know, into the light to be taken a look at. It's an empowering time is what it is. This is what it looks like to be reclaiming one's power. And it's not by taking the power back. It's like realizing it's a recalibration, saying, oh, okay, we allowed that to happen and now we're going to do a reset. I mean, look at it already over the past couple of days where there was a big enough upset that, you know, the American president turned some things around. It's like it's happening very, very quickly, where things used to take years before just be, you know, slid underneath the rug. So, I mean, it's interesting because some people have posted some things that state like, I've seen people, this happens with people with their perspective, going back to what we were discussing before. Some people have placed their perspective to that of powerlessness, and they're just like, oh, the darkness is spreading, the darkness is winning, and I'm like, you're focusing on the problem. When you focus on the problem, that tends to be what you see, and that's what you tend to manifest more of. And that's when you tend to have these really intense feelings and the anger comes up and you feel victimized. And it's like, take a step back, get in between, like get to the still point, that where they stay to meditate and take deep breaths, where you can take the more neutral standpoint. And sometimes you can't take the neutral standpoint, and I understand that. But you'll eventually get there and just go, okay, I see what's actually happening here. There are empowered points of view. But if you sit back and you're looking at it and you're going, oh God, the you know, the awful atrocities, there are things happening that are highly, highly tragic, but you don't have to get emotionally involved with it. For some people, that's absolutely necessary, but for others, particularly the empaths on the planet, take action where you can. Self-care comes number one. Take a step back and say, okay, where's the reflection in this? Or for some of you, not analyzing it is the best thing. I can tell you, you know, you can take the standpoint of thinking that the darkness is spreading, but I'm here to tell you it's not. This is just what happens when the light comes in and it kicks some stuff up. It's going to continue through the 3 eclipses that we've got coming through July. On the other side of August, it's really going to start, the end point of August, it's really going to start to calm down, and it's going to be just so soothing. They're showing me this light blue energy, which is usually pretty soothing energy. There's light here available for you. I highly recommend doing 30 Days of Light. That right now is on sale and also includes the Sunday healing sessions, 4 of them. I mean, for $99, you're not going to find cheaper healing. Just one-on-one with me is $220 an hour at least if you're not in part of a package. So I highly recommend that. Anybody that you know that you feel like would benefit, I recommend some pretty serious self-care right now. And take action. Donate where you can. And it's a lot. Some of you have really high cortisol levels. They're showing me, and the thought patterns and things like that. There's a lot of repatterning going on. Space clearing is important. Doing, what is it? They're stating you can place lemons in different parts of the house, and if it starts to change color, that's where you know that, you know, if it changes from yellow. That's where you know that there's areas that are stagnant energetically and it's time to do a cleanse or a sage or that sort of thing, or light if that's what you do for the space. I also offer space clearings for you. It's very important. So a lot of you, I can't say it enough, your perception's shifting over the next 2 months to things that are more peaceful ways rather than going against the grain. It's far more smooth when you go towards what it is you want to see in the world. It's super helpful to sit in meditation and see how you want the world to be. It's even better when we do that as a group, because it's just far more powerful. I need to do a video on why group situations are far more empowering than just the individual ones. It's so much more impactful. Yeah, watch your thoughts. They're manifesting in your energy field. Because some of the collective is really up in arms right now, I'm having to watch my notes to make sure that I've got everything. So, for some of you, this is tied karmically as the collective. This is tied karmically to other lives. It's playing out on the collective level. It's playing out in the small level. So I recommend the Solstice healing, at least doing the karmic clearing one. That's this Sunday. And on that one, it's going to be coming with the Violet Flame decrees. And we're going to be doing something different this Sunday, where we're going to get on and you get to have the decrees with you that my team emails you, and we get to state them together and you get to see what it's like. That way you can start using this karmic clearing for yourself using the Violet Flame on a daily basis. It moves mountains. So let's see. We talked about the intense emotions coming up, but again, I just keep seeing people with pain in their body, and it's just their emotional bodies are clogged, their pain bodies are clogged. So it's just like the Solstice healing is like a flush. The weekly healings are a flush. And some of those are focused on different things. Like in July, we'll have like grounding, and the last Sunday is always the karmic clearing one. Perfect, because we have, you know, violet going on back here. That ray of light is actually a little bit more pink than this right here. But let's see. But anyway, especially things like 30 days of light and showing up for healing for yourself and making that a disciplined effort, your life will change. These rays of light is coming straight from source to help you shift. It's beautiful. I've never seen personal transformation come more quickly. So again, this is not the darkness growing, this is the darkness moving out. These are patterns that have not been paid attention to for some time that are coming to the light, like any nefarious patterning. I mean, there's a reason why a certain social media came out with a new thing this week, you know, that people are not excited about this tool anyway, to distract you, you know. It just, they're doing this on purpose. It won't work. A lot of people are kind of irritated by the distraction, but again, it's sort of like focus. You can ask them for assistance with focus. The second ray of light is yellow. You can ask that ray in prayer for assistance so that you can better focus. And let's see. But I love seeing the collective take their power back. I've known about this since I was little, and it just feels amazing to watch it. So again, if you want some karmic clearing, you want to end some suffering in your life or patterns, and even in ways that you're not aware of, you know, patterns being cleared, it's going to clear them. There's even the sprays, like there's all kinds of ways that you can take care of yourself and work with it. But again, it has to be a disciplined effort. You can't just show up for one thing and say, oh, well, my entire life didn't change. It's like you have to have, that is the one thing I've always noticed with those that study with Ascended Masters, or Ascended Masters are their particular spirit guide, which is extremely rare. I've seen just a few people, you know, they'll assist groups of people, but one-on-one is people that are always dedicated. They're dedicated to doing the work. It is a discipline. It's sort of like they're the people that when mom and dad are away, they still act within their integrity. You can tell the ones that are not ready because, like, basically when the cat's away, the mice will play. And if they're the ones that are looking for opportunities to do things like you know, this is metaphorically like, ooh, dad's gone or dad's asleep, I'm going to take the car out for a spin. Those are the people that don't get selected by the Ascended Masters and that for personal one-on-one transformation. That's a really intense, like, road or path anyway. It's not something we're all ready for, but you still can have huge life-changing situations just for showing up for one. But again, you know, there's a lot of anger coming up in the collective. Watch how you process it. You know, anger can be a very, very powerful motivator for change. Just watch where you're sending it. And, you know, there's a lot of reclaiming of power that was given away, and it takes personal responsibility to not blame somebody that is the catalyst for reflecting back where people have given their power away. That's something that they want to say in a way. And I'll tell you this, the other thing is sometimes messages of truth will piss you off. And sometimes it needs to, so that something will shift. It like bypasses certain wirings in the brain. And that's why some people will have like true triggering is like the whole body nervous system is inflamed and they're like shaking. That's true triggers. It's not like the small time emotional triggers, but I don't wish the big full on, you know, nervous system triggering. That's for the more advanced. But there's also, if you're willing to take a look at it, it doesn't have to come to that. Especially if you're coming from a neutral standpoint, then you're able to see a lot more. You're able to see more of what's happening and go, okay, this is where that's going. I love watching people come together. And, you know, Metatron especially has been talking about this happening for some time, and I'm just going, fantastic. This is exciting to watch. People really come together and change. And it's only going to, like, it's a snowball effect. It's going to continue to happen, and to a point where we won't have to reclaim our power anymore. Or how we look at things, and the perception shifted and things like that. So, and the separation consciousness will shift, and it's coming together more into unity, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. So again, Karmic Clearing is the last Sunday of every month. There's one coming up this Sunday. It's by distance. We're practicing the Violet Flame Decrees, which is something we'll talk about in that session. There's a solstice healing if you feel called. They're asking me to, you know, send that through the 22nd. So it's completely fine if you want to sign up and it's a little bit late. The energy is still like 3 days prior and 3 days after. But you have an empowered point of view, and if you find some people don't want to be around you right now, don't take that personally. If you don't want to be around other people right now, that's fine too. Honor that. And yeah, so the solstice healing, the karmic clearing, the 30 days of light, the self-care card spread, these here, the sprays of light, uplifting images, all kinds of things that make you feel more connected are the things to go and pay attention to. They're stating electronics are not it. Although it is an excellent platform for uniting us as a people, so it's interesting to see. So yeah, this one's a little bit intense, but remember, it's all about your perceptions, regardless of whether or not you agree with this or not right now, or what it is I have to say. Your perceptions will shift. Your anger is going to come up. It's like somebody I was talking to earlier. I'm like, you know better than this. You knew this transit was coming. You knew this energy was coming onto the planet. Like, come on. Choose a different point of view. Like, you're leading a group of people right now, and we need you to stay in a neutral point of view. But, you know, that's something that's challenging for certain people right now, and that's okay. Allow yourself some space. Remember that this too is temporary. Everything will shift. And if you can shift into saying thank you. Thank you for these times. Thank you for this opportunity to be here. You've got all the angels at your disposal. You've got all the ascended masters and beings of light at your disposal. So anyway, just want to send my love to you. If there's a way that you can think of that you'd like to be supported, please get in touch. Loving, loving, loving doing spiritual mentorship right now. It's more fun to be teaching you how to use the tools. It's more fun to be watching people that are doing spiritual work and they want to take it to another level. People who are healthcare practitioners, psychologists, that sort of thing. Teaching you how to work with the rays of light with your clients is one of my most favorite things, especially if you're teaching people how to use these tools. Those are my favorite people to work with because it's needed right now, and self-care is more important than ever before. And you know, there are ways, if you were an empath, to be able to shut off what it is you're picking up on. That's something I don't hear a lot of people speaking about with empaths, and there's a lot of disempowered points of view about being empaths. But there are ways without shutting your light off because you hold dominion, you are self-sovereign as a being of light to be able to decide what energy you pick up on and what energy you put out. And I can tell you that if you want to work on that, come work with me. So anyway, sending you guys lots of love. Have a fabulous, fabulous week. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering what's going on with all the earth changes, the crystalline core of the planet is getting activated at the moment. So you're seeing things like the ring of fire and things like that. So it's okay. Just keep in mind and trust that the light is coming in and shifting. Okay? Everything's going to be okay. Some people have been through cataclysms during other times and are like, cellular memory of other times, but that's not what's happening this time. It's okay. Keep the positive perspective and you will feel so much better. And get those flushes, those energy flushes, and clear your energy every day if you can. Okay? Sending you lots of love. Bye. P.S. For some of you, get in the water. Bye.